Welcome to Still Surviving and Walking in Your Purpose. I'm your host, Gigi Blackshear. The Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Our guest not only is she a woman of substance, but she has a wonderful story of faith to share. Please welcome to our show, Miss Traci Irven. Traci, welcome to our show.
Hi, Gigi. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here.
You're welcome. So please tell our audience, who is Traci Irven, and share with us your story of survival.
Traci Irven is a woman who went off to college and expected to live out the dream and passion of her family. And subsequently found myself becoming pregnant my second year in college with a young son and alone and by myself. I always had the dream of the white picket fence, husband and family. And that's what my family portrayed and drew that picture for me.
What they expected.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Was the expectation. And so when I found myself in this position, things started to shift and change because I found emotionally that the person who I thought I was not.
Oh, wow.
And so the strength that I had to gain in learning from my experience and then subsequently becoming married and then divorced, fast forwarding a little bit, and then being left with a small girl child that had severe epilepsy, and then alone as a single parent with a son with no present father, and then with a daughter with no present father that had severe epilepsy, then left me as a single parent to deal with all of that alone.
Yeah. Two children. One with health issues.
Yes.
Talk to me about, you said that you discovered that you were not the person that you thought you were. What does that mean?
Well, the thought of Traci was a person that would have a life by herself, leaving college, going on to get her master's degree, shopping in London, Paris, and all those places, and being able to just live for myself. And so probably shallow a little bit of sorts. But then I found out that there was a woman inside that really could have strength that I did not think that I had inside myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So tell us, Traci, you went from being a college student to a mother, single mother.
Yes.
Then you said you got married.
Yes, I got
married, and then you had another
Very
child.
Briefly.
And
Yes.
then that's a lot to happen in a short period of time.
Absolutely.
How did you survive that? What was the thing, the catalyst, or the person that helped you or caused you to be able to move beyond?
Well, actually, it was the two little ones that I saw
Your
in
children.
front of me, my children. I felt as though that they did not ask to be here. So the person that, the illusion that I had for myself or my family of the woman I was supposed to be, it was supposed to be a persona of another woman that had lots of strength that needed to be there for these two children, that had lots of emotional and physical needs that needed to be dealt with. And so I found myself coming out of my box of just thinking of myself, and then I found strength in those two people that needed me, those
Putting the needs of your children before
first.
your own.
Absolutely.
Before your own.
Absolutely.
What about a support system? Was there a support system in place for you? You talked about your family and their expectations of you. Were they there to support you, or were you basically left to kind of figure it out on your own?
Left to really figure it out on my own. I have a mother that was very present, as you would say, physically. However, I believe the emotional support of being left in a position that I was not familiar with wasn't there. I had to learn lots of single parenting on my own. And so because I came out of a household that had a two-parent household, and this is the way I envisioned I would raise my children, I had to start thinking of a new way of being for my children. Even though we were in a single parent household, I did not want it to seem like they had any less, absolutely any less than any other household with children.
That's interesting. Let me ask you, do you think that because your upbringing was very different from what your children were experiencing, do you think you overcompensated with your children because of that?
Absolutely I did. Absolutely I did. There was several times that I knew, especially with my daughter having epilepsy, that I didn't want her to feel, especially having to deal with seizures in the middle of her senior year, for instance, in high school, having to go to grad night and having a seizure right then and there. And so I coveted her a lot. Yeah. And then I also wanted to give them the things that I felt like they should have, and even though they were in a single parent household.
As a single parent taking care of a child that has major health issues, that must have been challenging for you.
Very challenging.
Were there resources that helped you with that, or were you, again, on your own, kind of trying to figure that out?
Pretty much just trudging the road on my own, just learning about neurologists and reading and researching and trying to find out the best technique without having to medicate her so much. Because a lot of the medicines out there for epilepsy will leave one very lethargic, a little distant, because there has been lots of statistical research that has been done on people with epilepsy, how they are not alert, and so they've been arrested because it looks like they're resisting. Yes, but it looks like they're resisting arrest. So it's just very important to pick the right medicine, and so I had to find myself turning into almost a researcher of her condition on my own to just make sure she had the best care possible. And because I did not have the finances at that time, that I would have loved to get the best
the best medical care.
The best medical care for her. So I couldn't do that at that time. And so I found myself doing whatever I could. And then so I started looking into some holistic avenues. And so I learned a lot about healthy eating and those types of things, clean eating that could help her.
It sounds like you were very resourceful.
Yes, I had to become resourceful.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. You know, as a young mother, we have to learn things kind of on the fly.
Yes.
You know, you learn as you go, and you overcompensate. But it sounds like because you put the needs of your children first, you were able to kind of do what they needed to do, but still be okay.
Yes, absolutely. And then I would sometimes put the facade that I still had it all together, although I knew deep down inside I did not. I was dying inside, because there were still things that I longed to do for myself.
For yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I had needs that were not being met. And so I would try to, I think, vicariously somehow live out those needs within my children.
Through your children.
Yeah.
Through your children. We talked about faith.
Yes.
How did faith play a part in your survival story?
Faith is just so strong for me. You know, the Bible says that you just need faith. It's the size of a grain of a mustard seed. And I, a lot of times in my past, would find that hard to even fathom, just going through so many challenges. But I found that faith was the only track record that I had to look at for what God had done for me in my life. And I knew that no matter what I went through, I still would look at my past and say that He's got me through so many things. There is no way that I can't get over this next situation. And that's just faith. Faith is who I am.
Yes.
Faith is just what
and what has sustained you thus far.
Absolutely.
How are your children doing now? How old are they?
They're doing wonderful. 28 and 25. I know I don't look a day over 30.
You do not. You do not. You do not. Yeah. Traci, you have shared with us a wonderful story of faith and the ability to endure and maintain and care for your children.
Yes.
We're going to come back and hear more from Traci in just a moment. We are back with Miss Traci Irven. Traci, you have shared with us a wonderful story of faith. We know that, based on the story that you told us, we know that there has to be something wonderful going on with Traci Irven. Share with us what's going on with you now.
I love the fact that I became an entrepreneur 17 years ago. I have a commercial and residential cleaning business. And so throughout, something that I thought was tragedy has actually become triumphant for me.
What is the name of your business?
It's called Team One Service.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We're actually here in Orlando.
Oh,
at this
wonderful.
time. So just the being able to share my story with the staff that I have, I've been able to motivate and encourage and inspire so many of my staff members who are single parents. And they look at me and they say, oh, you don't have any, looks like you just get up and you just flawless and you don't have any issues or challenges. And then I say, let me tell you what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so it has really been a wonderful ride for my business. My business has been purpose calling. This one, I thought the college was supposed to be my purpose. I found that the business is where I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be here. And I traveled through my journey in order to be able to be a blessing through my business for so many people.
That is wonderful, Traci. You know, it's interesting. The good thing is that we don't look like what we've been through. So when people look at you, they see this beautiful woman that's well put together, and you don't look like you've been through anything ever in your life. But also the bad thing is that we don't look like what we've been through. And because of that, people want to discredit our story. They don't know. But when we get to that place where we can share our story, it helps other people to know that I'm here now, but I've gone through all of these things in order to get here. And the things that we go through that don't kill us make us stronger. And all of those trials that you experienced as a young mother, going through divorce and raising your children, all of those things ultimately work together for your good and helped you to become the woman that you are today, successful in business, 2 well-adjusted adult children, and able to do the thing that you were called to do, that you didn't even know. You know, and it lets us know that God has a plan and a purpose for our life that's far greater than we can even imagine. So, Traci, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It was very inspiring. And continue to do well. We know that your business is going to continue to do well. But continue to touch the lives of those young people that God intentionally sends across your path. Because we need more stories like yours. We need more people that are willing to reach out and help those that need the help.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you. I was so glad to be here. Thank you, Gigi.
We'll be back with licensed clinical social worker Lakita Brooks. We are back with licensed clinical social worker Lakita Brooks. Lakita, welcome to our show.
Hi, Gigi.
Hi. After listening to Traci's story, her story contained a lot.
Yes.
College student, single mother, single parent, married early, divorced, 2 children, a child with health care issues. She had a lot. What kind of advice would you offer to someone that has a full plate at a young age, at an early age?
You know, Gigi, I would say the first thing that Traci mentioned was her why. You know, when she initially went to college, it was about her family, what they wanted for her, and then
their expectations.
Exactly. And then she became pregnant. And she was like, what in the world am I going to do? And from that point, everything that drove her was